Hello researchers, how are you? I hope you are fine and doing well. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to install MOSIX operating system. MOSIX is regarded as a proprietary distributed operating system, and in this video, I will be first of all demonstrating about MOSIX, its theory via some presentation. Then we will be installing Ubuntu 14.04 server. We will be configuring the server, making it ready for MOSIX, and then we will be installing MOSIX. Then we will be installing the MOSIX cluster. This is one of the most important videos in my channel, and I can say that in YouTube you will find no resource except this video. Now before we start with the installation of 14.04 Ubuntu and MOSIX, let us first of all get ourselves aware regarding MOSIX operating system. MOSIX is a proprietary distributed operating system. Although early versions were based on older Unix systems, since 1999 it focuses on Linux clusters and grid. In a MOSIX cluster, there is no need to modify or to link applications with any library to copy files or log into remote nodes or even to assign processes to different nodes. It is done automatically like in an SMP, that is called symmetric multiple processing. If we talk of history, MOSIX has been researched and developed since 1977 at Hebrew University of Jerusalem by the research team of Professor Amnon Barak. So far, 10 major versions have been released. The first version was called MOS for Multi-Computer OS, which was in 1981 to 83, was based on the Bell Labs 7th edition Unix and ran on a cluster of PDP-11 computers. Later versions were based on Unix System 5 Release 2 from 1987 to 89 and ran on cluster of VAX and NS32332 based computers, followed by BST OS derived version 1991 to 93 for a cluster of 486 Pentium computers, and since 1999 MOSIX is tuned to Linux for x86 platforms. Now the latest version which we have is MOSIX 4.3.4. Now if we talk of the main features, it provides aspects of single system image. User can log on any node and do not need to know what their programs run. No need to modify or link applications with special libraries. No need to copy files to remote nodes. Automatic resource discovery and workload distribution by process migration, load balancing. Migrating process from smaller to faster nodes and from nodes that run out of free memory. Migratable sockets for direct communication between migrated processes. Secure runtime environment for guest processes. Live queuing queued jobs preserve their full generic Linux environment. Batch jobs, checkpoint and recovery, automated installation and configuring scripts, online monitors. Now if we talk of the latest version, after MOSIX became proprietary software in late 2001, Moshe Bar forked the latest free version and started the Open MOSIX project on February 10, 2002. On 15th of July 2007, Bar decided to end the Open MOSIX project effective from March 1, 2008, claiming that increasing power and availability of low-cost multi-core processors is rapidly making systems image clustering less of a factor in computing. These plans were reconfirmed in March 2008. The Linux PMI project is continuing development of the former of MOSIX Open MOSIX code. Now this was basically called the free information which was available on the internet, which I have read. So let me start with a presentation. So introduction to MOSIX. MOSIX, that is known as Multi-Computer Operating System for Unix, is a cluster operating system which provides users and applications with impression of running on a single computer with multiple processors. MOSIX distributed operating system, because it is called as a distributed operating system, was developed by Hebrew University in 1977, led by Professor Amnon Barak. Redesigned in 1999 to run on Linux clusters built with x86 platforms, activated till date, the latest version is MOSIX 4.3.4, which was released on 9th July 2015. Supports both interactive and batch jobs, incorporate dynamic resource discovery and automated workload distribution. In MOSIX, each process has unique home node where the process was created. This node is normally the logic node for the application user. Now the building blocks of MOSIX. The two building blocks of MOSIX is known as configuration and processes. MOSIX cluster, if we talk of configurations, MOSIX cluster is a set of interconnected computers called nodes which are administered by a single owner and run the same version of MOSIX. In a MOSIX cluster, each node maintains information about availability and state of resources of all the nodes. A MOSIX multi-cluster is a collection of private MOSIX clusters and may be administered by different owners. In MOSIX multi-cluster, each node maintains information about availability and state of resources of all nodes in a connected cluster. MOSIX process can run in remote clusters while still using the environment by private home clusters. MOSIX multi-clusters have high degree of trust, that is no tampering when running process in remote clusters. MOSIX Cloud is a collection of entities such as MOSIX clusters, MOSIX multi-clusters, Linux clusters, individual workstations, and virtual machines. In MOSIX Cloud, entities are administered by different owners and rarely share any file systems like NFS. Now, if we talk of the B part, that is called processes, MOSIX recognizes two types of process, Linux process and MOSIX process, because we know that first of all, we have to install some base system, that is the Linux operating system, and then we will be installing MOSIX. So both the process will be running, that is Linux and MOSIX. Linux processes are not affected by MOSIX as they run in Linux mode and cannot be migrated. MOSIX process be migrated. Linux processes include administrative tasks and processes which are not suitable for migration. MOSIX processes are usually user applications that are suitable and can benefit from migration. Now we see the process migration in MOSIX. MOSIX supports preemptive process migration. Migration process is divided into two perspectives. The first part is called user perspective and the second part is called system perspective. If we talk of user perspective can be migrated, and the system perspective, which is UHN, that is Universal Home Node Dependent, is not migrated. System perspective, it is called deputy, contains descriptions of the resources of the process and a kernel stack for the execution of the system code on behalf of processes. MOSIX recognizes two types of processes, Linux process and MOSIX process. Linux process, as we know that it is not affected, and Linux process includes administrative tasks and processes which are not suitable for migration. So this diagram shows you the local process and the migrating process, in which we have node 1 and we have node 2. So both we have the Linux kernel, we have the link layer, we have the network, and we have the user space. So we are migrating the process, and these are the local processes which are running. So the properties of MOSIX algorithms, that is efficient kernel communication, network transparency, PPT, dynamic load balancing, and decentralized control. Thank you. And now, before we begin with the installation part, let me tell you that what things do you require in order to make the MOSIX cluster. So let me open the web browser. Now you can see the first thing which we require is Oracle VirtualBox. Make it sure that everything should be 64-bit, which means your CPU, your machine, your laptop, your operating system, your softwares, everything should be 64-bit. Otherwise it will give error. So you can download VirtualBox version 5.0 from this website, which is available free of cost. And on this we will be installing Ubuntu 14.04 server. So go to this link, that is ubuntu.com/download/server. You can find Ubuntu server 14.04.4 LTS, that is called long-term support. If you click on this download, you can get the automatic download as we have. So I don't have to download because I've already downloaded it. So the third website which I give you, that is www.mosix.cs.ug.ac.il/textdistributions.html. So this is the main website, and this is the latest distribution, that is 4.3.4. and in this video I will be downloading this version as such, that is the tbz file, which you can find over here. That is a tbz file. You can find the links over here in my video when we are going to install it on the Oracle VirtualBox. So if we talk of some resources, I was not able to get any more resources. So you can find this administrative guide, the white paper, the wiki, and the changelog. So if I open my, you can say PDF reader, I have found only this material, that is MOSIX 2 cluster and multi-cluster management administrative guide revised for MOSIX 2.25.0.0. So even you can find that this guide is not even for the latest MOSIX. And second, which I found, that is MOSIX cluster operating system. Again, that is for 3.4.0.11, not even for 4.3.4. So I will be helping you out in this video how to install MOSIX operating system. So before we start with the MOSIX, let us first of all start our VirtualBox, install that is Ubuntu 14.04, prepare our server, and then we will be going with the MOSIX cluster. So first of all, let us open the Oracle VirtualBox. So click on new. You can type the machine, that is Ubuntu 14.04, or you can give this straight name, that is MOSIX machine number 1. So I just changed the type to Linux and I changed the Ubuntu to 64-bit. So which means I will be making one machine, then two machine, then three machines. So in this video, I will be making two machines and they will be acting as cluster, and mosmon command will be working. So click on next. So I allocate 1 GB of RAM to the Ubuntu 14.04 machine. Click on next, click on create, next, next, and I just give it 10 GB. You can even provide more, but 10 GB will suffice. It will be okay. So click on create. So now you can see that the machine has been created, and if I right click and I click on settings, you can just go to network. I find that I require the NAT, but after that I will be changing the NAT to internal network. Why I will be changing? I will be telling you the reason afterwards. So first of all, let us start with the installation of Ubuntu 14.04 server. So I just click on start. So you can find that the automatic thing has come. So I click on browse. I go to my desktop and I go to this Ubuntu 14.04.4 server, that is AMD 64. So don't you worry if you find the AMD 64, because for 64-bit AMD and Intel machines work parallelly. So there is no worry about that. Okay. So click on open and click on start. So I click on view and full screen mode. So the first option which have come, that is the language part. So I'm using English only. If you are living in other countries like China or Taiwan or Hebrew or anywhere, you can change the language. So I will take in the default option, that is English. So press enter. So now you can see that there's a main option which has come, that is Ubuntu, install Ubuntu server, multiple server install, check disk, test memory, boot from hard disk, rescue a broken system. So this is my new machine. So the first option I will be taking is install the Ubuntu server. So I press enter. So let me click close for this. Now you can see that it has started with the installation part. So no need to worry about these errors. This is just a simple error, ignore them. So the first thing which have come, that is the selection of the language, that is English. So I press enter. The second thing is called select your location. Because I'm living in India, so I go to India and press enter. So the third option which you come is the configure the keyboard, detect the keyboard. So don't need to worry about the yes, take it no only, so that the computer gives you the default option. So press no. Now you can find to configure the keyboard, I give it default, that is English US. I press enter. So again, we select the matching keyboard, that is English US. I press enter again. So now you can see that it is detecting some hardware to find CD-ROM drives. So make it sure when you start the installation of Ubuntu 14.04, the internet should be there. So that's why we have taken the NAT. But after we complete the work of the internet, we will going towards internal network. We will be cloning the machines and then we will be starting the components installation. So now you can see that it has started loading the additional components and the installation is working very fine. So everything will go fast and everything goes smooth. So now you can see that it is detecting the network hardware. So everything which we are doing in Ubuntu, that is a client-based installation, it will be same, almost same, but it will be, you can say, text-based type installation. The graphical installation will not be there because it's a server, it's not the client. But for MOSIX, you have to download the server and you have to make the machines like this, which I am doing step by step. So follow steps. So let us wait for the next step to continue. So now you can see that it is configuring the network and it is demanding the host name. Host name may be regarded as the machine name. So I will not be making any change. Ubuntu is okay. So I press enter. You can change the name as per your requirements. I press enter. So after that, it is demanding the full name of the user. So I just create my name as the full name, Anand Nair, and I press enter. So username for my account, that is Anand. I press enter, and now I have to type the password. So I give my name as the password. I re-enter the password. So use a weak password. There is no need to worry. So just press yes and press enter. The next step is to encrypt the home directory. So there is no need. So the security will be okay. So I press no. That is the default option. I press enter on no. So now you can see that it is getting the time from the network time server, and it will be detecting the time, and might be it will detect that is Asia Kolkata. So we have to wait for a few seconds till it gives us the time zone location as per our location detection. Yes, you can see that based on your present physical location, your time zone is Asia Kolkata. If this is correct, then you can say yes. Otherwise it is no. But otherwise it is yes. So press enter on yes. So now you can see that it is detecting the disk and all other hardware. And now we have to start with the partitioning. So partition disk. So if you are an expert user, you can go to manual. Otherwise you can take the default option, the first option, that is guided, use entire disk. Press enter. So select the disk which you have already seen. I have already made the partition of 10 GB. So I press enter on 10 GB. So you can see that it has made two partition, that is ext4 and the swap partition. The swap is for the virtual memory, which will be 2 into RAM. Suppose that is RAM is 1 GB, that is 1024. So swap will be 2048. So right change it to disk. So change from no to yes and press enter. So now you can see that it is installing the system. So it is, as compared to graphical installation, it is much faster. So it is retrieving some files, and now it is installing the kernel part of Linux. So headers are installed and it is configuring the Linux image. So everything's going smoothly and in a proper manner. So it is installing the kernel, and now it is installing some extra packages and post installation, that is initram fs tools. So everything you can find which we do in our graphical installation, it is same. So now it is configuring apt, that is the package manager. I don't use any proxy, so I just press enter. So if you want to retrieve some files, you can press enter, or otherwise you can skip it. So press enter for cancel. So now you can see that it is installing the softwares. So Python is there, everything as we can see. And one thing which I would like to make you aware, that the Ubuntu 14.04 doesn't have any graphical interface. It will give you the text based, that is the terminals. So now you can see that applying the frequent updates. So I don't want to have any update. So I take the default option, that is no automatic updates. So I don't want to configure any server. You can say that OpenSSH server, DNS, LAMP server, mail server, Postgre, print server, Samba server, Tomcat, virtual machine host, manual package selection. You can do everything, but I just want to make it as a cluster by making installing. So I don't need to have any server to be installed. So I press continue. So you can even configure it afterwards, but right now the focus of this video is a MOSIX cluster. So I will be just taking as the base installation, as a basic system. So you can find it is going very fast and smooth. So in less than 1 or 2 minutes, you can install the entire server. So manual has already been installed. Security part is installing. Most of the packages which I can see is of the Python only. So post installation trigger CS certificates are there, and it is cleaning up the extra files. So with this, we can rest assured that our 30% of the part of this video is over, in which we have installed our Ubuntu 14.04 server. Now before we move to the MOSIX, we have to configure some packages into it. Now it is installing grub bootloader, so we have to install the grub bootloader to master boot record. So press yes for the enter and press enter. So it is updating the grub and it is setting up the user and a passwords. So you can see that installation is finished, and we just press enter for continue, and it will reboot, and we will be logging into the interface of the terminal. So the system has been rebooted. Yes, so now you can see that the Ubuntu options have come. So press enter on the first option, or even if you don't press enter, it will automatically boot after 10 seconds. So the basic things are booted up, and all these services are getting okay. Yes, so now you can see that Ubuntu LTS, Ubuntu TTY, that is a terminal 1 Ubuntu login. So what I do, I just log in with my username and password, and after that I will be activating the root password. So let me enter my name Anand, and let me enter my name as the password. So now you can see that I have entered. So let me clear. So the first thing which you have to do is to activate the root account with the password. So give this command sudo password. Now you can find that the password for my username has been done. So let me give my password, and now this two things are the password for the root. So let me give my name as the password for the root. So the password has been updated successfully. So let me log out and let me log in with the root, because everything what you have to do from this point onwards have to be done with the root. So let me exit. Now you can find that my login, that is Anand, has been exited. So let me log in with the root. Good. So now you can see that the root has been logged in. So first of all, I have to check the IP address, that is ifconfig, which means 10.0.2.15 is there. And let me check the internet connectivity with the command, that is ping google.com. So ping is coming, which means that this machine is properly connected to the internet. Now what we have to do is to first of all give some packages. We have to update the system, we have to install some packages, and then we will be proceeding with the installation of MOSIX part. So the first command which I give you is apt-get update. This command will update the packages repository so that whatever we have to download, it is coming in the latest form. So press enter. So it will take some time in the first matter. So you can see that all the packages are being updated up with trusty security. So with a decent internet connection, you will find no problem in downloading the packages. And we just have to bring 3 packages more. I will let you know what they are. So almost we are on the 90%. So make it sure that this command is the basic command. It has to be done before you proceed. Otherwise, the packages will not be installed. So 64 packages are there. Going fine. So let's wait for some more time. Yes, so now you can see that about 32.7 MB is fetched in 1 minute and 2 seconds. So which means that now our Ubuntu is latest, and now it is ready to crawl any package from the internet. So let me clear, and now let me install the first package for you, that is apt-get install build-essential. So now you can see that it is about 40 MB of download is required, and 115 MB of additional space will be consumed. So let's press Y and press enter. Let it download. So it can take some time, and if you have a good internet connection, it will not take more than, you can say, 1 minute or 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes. So the GCC compiler is also being installed. but still we will be checking it. So you can find that almost 50% has been downloaded. Just wait. Yes, almost there. So you can see that almost 39.7 MB has been fetched in 1 minute. It is unpacking, and after that it will be setting up everything. So make it sure, because installing MOSIX and configuring MOSIX, it's not an easy game. So follow steps. So let me clear this. And now, as we know that we have done two commands, apt-get update for updating the packages and apt-get install build essential. Now let us move to the third package, which you can see that I have already installed, but let me cross check it. That is apt-get install GCC. So you can see that GCC is already the newest version, so no need to there. So I know that it is installed, but we have to cross check. So the last package which I require, that is apt-get install, that is cmake. So it is about a 3 MB of package. So let me press enter, and it will be consuming about 17 MB of disk space. So let me press Y and press enter. So this completes 40% of the work for MOSIX, in which we have installed the server and in which we have prepared the server, the packages. And now the next part which we are doing after this is to prepare the environment of Ubuntu to make MOSIX ready. So now you can see that the package has been installed, and now what we have to do is to prepare the environment. So what I have to do is to make a directory, is to make a folder, mkdir, which is for making the folder, /etc/MOSIX. So which means a MOSIX names folder will be created under /etc. Press enter, and now we have to make another folder, that is mkdir. Sorry, first of all we have to go to /etc/MOSIX. So in this we have to make one folder, that is mkdir, that is var ls. So you can see that the var has been created. So in this directory, what we have to do is to first of all download the MOSIX from MOSIX website, which I have already shown you before in this video, in the beginning of this video. So we use the wget command. So wget www.mosix.huji.ac.il/mos4/capital MOSIX -4.3.4 .small/tbz. So this is the exact link which you require in order to download the MOSIX distributed operating system software from the internet, from the MOSIX website, the official MOSIX website, that is of the Hebrew University. So all the you can say commands which I am covering in this part of my video will be available at the video below. So press enter. Now you can find that it is resolving the link and it is connected. So MOSIX is about, you can say, 5 MB of software, and it is downloaded. So let me press ls, and now you can find that there are two things are there, var folder and MOSIX tbz file. Now what you have to do is to unzip this file. Give the command. Let me first of all clear this. This is the file. So let us first of all unzip it. That is *, that is tape archive space -xjvf space MOSIX tab. So everything will be covered, and press enter. So if we do ls, you can find a MOSIX folder has been created which is unzipped. Okay, so the next part is to give the network settings. So what I have to do is to power off this machine, and we have to change the settings of this machine. So what I do is to come to this close button and power off the machine. So now what you have to do is to right click the machine, go to settings, now go to network. Now change the enable adapter that is attached to NAT to internal network. Now from this point, we don't require any internet connection on this machine. So we will be making our own private machines. So press OK and start the machine again. So now the IP address that is 10.0.2.15 which was allocated to this machine will no longer be activated because we have removed this machine from NAT connection, and now we have to manually give the IP address to this machine. So let us wait till it starts. So now you can see that it is waiting for network configuration, but still it will take some 1 minute to, because this machine doesn't have any IP address, we will allocate it. So let us wait for the network configuration because it will not be allocated any IP address. So we have to wait for the first boot. You can see it will take some time. So you can see that waiting up to 60 more seconds for network configuration. So this will happen in the first time only. The next time it will not be there because we will allocate the IP address to this machine. So follow steps. Let's wait. So now what we have to do is to provide the static IP address to this machine, and we will be providing, that is, our own IP address, our C class IP address. So booting the system without full network. So now you can see I've got the boot. So let me log in with root and the password. So now if you can see, if I type this command ifconfig, now I can find that there is no IP address. So what we have to do is to open one file, because in Linux everything is a file, and we have to manually give some commands, and then we will be allocating the IP address. So what we have to do, give this command nano space /etc/network/interfaces. Press enter. Now I can find that this file describes the network interfaces available on your system. So what you have to do is to come downstairs, and this is a thing, auto ETHO, which means that the ETHO will automatically be activated when the machine is restarted. So if face ETHO inet DHCP, so we have to change it to static, so that our machine will be able to get the IP address of our own requirement. So press enter. Now we do with the address, and let me allocate the address, that is 192.168.0.150. Let me go with the net mask, that is the subnet, space 255.255.255.0. You can allocate even B class or A class. If you are allocating B class, then 255.255.0.0. If it is A class, 255.0.0.0. And if it is C class, then 255.255.255.0. So the next thing is called network 192.168.0.1. And the last thing, that is gateway, that is 192.168.0.1. So now what I have to do is to save the file. So I press Ctrl X. So save the modified buffer, press Y and press enter. So you can see that it has written 14 lines. So let me first of all restart the network services. So let me give this command /etc/init.d/networking restart. So if I type the IP address, you can find that still it has not been allocated any IP address. So what we have to do is to reboot the machine, and then it will be allocated the IP address. So what I do is to give the command reboot, and after it reboots, we will be getting the IP address. Yes, so you can see that it has booted fastly. So root, password, and now if I type this command ifconfig, you can find that 192.168.0.150 is there. So this completes 50% of this video, in which we have first of all shown what is MOSIX, how to install 14.04 server, how to prepare the server, and how to start the networks. And now everything what I'm going to show is on the MOSIX itself. So let us go to the MOSIX directory which we have created, that is cd/etc/MOSIX. Now let me go to this folder, that is cd MOSIX. Enter. So if I press ls, you can find all these commands. So first of all, we have to install the MOSIX. So give this command, the first command, that is /MOSIX.install. So let us start with the MOSIX install. So if I press ls, you can find all these commands. So what you have to do is to give this, that is /MOSIX.install. And suppose if it doesn't respond, what you have to do is to go out of this directory, go to this command, that is ls. You can find this folder is there. So what you have to do is to give this command, that is rm-r MOSIX, enter. You can unzip the file again, that is star space minus xzvf with MOSIX. Sorry, xjvf MOSIX. So again, if you unzip, so now if you can go, and now if I type, that is MOSIX.install, so you can find that it is installing MOSIX. So sometimes some bugs can be there. So it is better that if it doesn't get installed at the first time, remove the folder again with that command, unzip the file again, and then come inside. So the first thing is to press enter. Now in which run level you should run MOSIX? So press 2 over here. So congratulations on successfully installing MOSIX. So the first thing, which nodes are in this cluster, that is essential. So first thing which we press is the first option, that is press 1 on this screen. Press enter. And now what we have to do is to add the nodes to this cluster. So press N, that is to add a new nodes to this cluster, press N. And now it will demand you the IP address of this machine. So give the IP address, that is the current IP address of this machine, that is 192.168.0.150. So press enter. Now it will talk you what are the number of nodes. So now it all depends on you, how much big machines do you want, how much cluster do you want. So in this video, I will be just taking 3 nodes. Example, it will be 3 nodes or maybe 4 nodes or 5 nodes, whatever it is. So you can make the machines, you can make the cluster, anything. So in this time I will be making 3, but I will be making cluster of 2 machines. So press 3, press enter. Now type Q to quit. So you can find that OK to also to update the logical number. So press Y. And now what we have to do is to go with the authentication part, the second part, that is authentication, which is essential over here, that is essential. So press 2 over here. And now you have to type the key. I give the simple key, that is 1 2 3 4. Press enter. Now what you have to do is to press 4, that is to have the processor speed, that is press 4 over here. And now type 2000, that is your processor speed, that is 1. If you have 1.8 gigahertz, it is 1800. If because I'm having 2.0 gigahertz i7 processor, so it will be 2000. So depending on the processor speed, you can give multiply by 100, you can give it multiple 1000, I think so, sorry. So press enter. So CPU speed has been there. So press Q for quit and Q again to exit. So it will ask you to activate MOSIX now. So press Y and press enter. Now you can see that it has started MOSIX and MOSIX version 4.3.4 is running. So what you have to do is to check the status. So what I do is to give this command /etc/init.d/MOSIX status. So you can find that it has started with the status and it has given up the IP, that is 150 to 152. It will be there. So 3 machines will be there in the cluster. So the next part which we have to do is to put the name of cluster. So again, what I do is to come under this command, that is /mosconf. Now give this command, that is /mosconf, that is MOSIX configure. Press enter. Press enter again, and now what you have to do is to press 7, that is the option that is become part of a multi-cluster private cloud. So press enter. Now you have to type the name. So I give the name, that is MOSIX. Now press N again on the option, and now you have to type again the IP address of the machine, which is the current machine, that is 192.168.0.150. So again the number of nodes, that is number 3, and are these nodes distant? Press N and press enter. So press Q and press Q again. So you can see that let me delete the node. So 3 nodes will be there now, and yes, so 3 nodes will be starting from 150. So let me press Q, and just the partner node to press and to exit, just press enter. So press Q, enter, and now you can see that everything is being done. So now the next part is to have the clone of this machine. So what I do is to close this machine again, power off. Okay, so what you have to do is to right click the machine, go to this option that is clone. So what I do, I just retype the name of this machine, that is MOSIX machine number 2. So it will be the second machine in the cluster. So press next and press full clone and click on clone. Okay. So let me give this as machine number 2. Okay, there is some error. The error was of the machine name, so I have given the another name, that is machine number 2. So if the error comes, you can just change the name, so no need to worry. So it will take about 4 minutes to clone. So after that we will be seeing the mosmon command. I will pause the video for some time now. Now you can see that the machine 2 has been created. So before I power on the machine 1, it is having, that is 192.168.0.150, and even it is having, machine 2 is having 0.150. So I have to change the IP address of this machine. So what I have to do is to start the machine number 2 and change the IP address of the machine. So the follow steps the same. So press enter. So you can see that it is somewhat complex to do MOSIX, but if you do regular updates of this machine on the video, you can find no problem. So let me go with the root. So if I type ifconfig, you can find that the IP address is 0.150. So what I have to do is to go to this file nano/etc/network/interfaces, and now what I have to do is to change the IP address of this machine. That is 151. So I press Ctrl X, yes, and enter. So let me give this command, that is /etc/init.d/networking restart. So if I type the command, that is ifconfig, it is again having 150. So I have to reboot the machine. So to make it sure that IP addresses are different, we have to wait. So this is machine number 2, root. So let me check the IP address, that is ifconfig. Now you can see that it is having 151. So now it is the high time to start machine number 1. So 2 machines will be there, and it will be seeing the cluster with the mosmon command. So again I press enter on this machine. Now see the beauty of the cluster. So what I do, cd/etc/mosix /mosix cd mosix4. So let me give this command. Let me log in also. cd/etc/mosix/mosix 4.4, and let me give this command, that is mosmon. So you can see 2 machines are there, and let me go with mosmon. So again the 2 machines, and you can find the cluster is being made, and you can even start the cluster with /. If I go with this machine, that is, if I say Control C, and if I go with this, that is /mosix stop. So it is disconnected from the machine. You can find that machine 2 is now stable. So if I go with, that is restart, so you can find that the MOSIX is running with mosmon, everything is going stable. So in this video, I have demonstrated how to install MOSIX operating system, how to make the cluster, how to do everything. So do give this a shot. It's the most detailed video ever you can find on YouTube. So do share with your friends, do give your comments, and if you have any queries, you can mail me and I will be supporting you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.